friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another First Listen review. This week has been really kind of slim pickings, and I guess kind of fortunately though, that it worked out to the benefit of the fact that I probably would not have listened to this album or gotten this album if it hadn't been for the fact that there wasn't a whole lot to choose from, I'm not going to lie. The band I'm talking about is the Pineapple Thief. They have a new album out called It Leads to This, and I know the Pineapple Thief. I really don't have anything from them. I've heard some stuff here and there, and nothing, for whatever reason, it's just one of those bands that I never have paid much attention to. I kind of know a little bit about them, a little bit about their history, and that's about it. But I saw this was out, and it was like, one of the bigger releases that were coming out this week. Because like I said, there wasn't a whole heck of a lot coming out this week. And I decided, what the heck, I'm just going to give this a shot, give it a listen, see what this is all about. And man, I feel like really stupid for not ever listening to these guys ever before, because I really, really like this album. Just getting right to the point, I guess, this album was like really good. They're kind of like, and I know they've probably drawn this comparison before, this is kind of how I knew of them. They were kind of, sounded a lot like Porcupine Tree. And, having the fact that they have Gavin Harrison as the drummer in the band probably doesn't help, separate that from them. But he joined them back in like 16, and he's obviously been Porcupine Tree's drummer since 2002 or something like that. And from what I understand, he took a really big part in the writing of this album, and had a whole lot to do with, holy crap, there's all kinds of noise going on around me all of a sudden. But anyway, he had a whole lot to do with the writing of the songs in this one, and I really like the mood of this album quite a bit. The band was actually started by Bruce Sword, way back in '99. Did most of everything himself. Then they became a band as time went on. A couple of the members have changed, and his style of singing is very similar to Steven Wilson's, actually, although you can tell that they do have different things going on here and there. But it reminds me of kind of like Steven Wilson's solo stuff in the fact that it's like a little bit more chill, a little bit more melancholy in his singing style. The music, however, is like a little bit more, rock than, for lack of a better way of putting it, but it's progressive music, but it's got a little bit more of a rock feel than some of the stuff that he's done on his own. But I don't want to compare the two of these guys as the whole thing here, but it's kind of hard not to. Even the fact that he changed to the Pineapple Thief so they wouldn't be confused with the initials being the same as Porcupine Tree. So I did a little bit of wiki looking up on this one because I wasn't too familiar with the band. That was one of the things that said there. So even he knows that it's going to be compared to Porcupine Tree. But anyway, as far as the music goes on here, it starts out really chill. Like the first song's kind of chill and doesn't really build to too much of anything. But as time goes on, the first song being Put It Right, and then it goes into another song, Rubicon, which is a little bit more on the more heavier side of things, and it goes from there. That's kind of like a lot of the songs on here are actually more like just standard songs, like anywhere from 4.5 to 6 minutes long. There's nothing really super long, like I guess they have on some of their other stuff, and like a lot of these bands in this style do. And being that Gavin was in King Crimson for a while, we know that how some of those songs can go. They can take up an entire side of an album, if not the whole album. So nothing like that on here. However, halfway through is where things start to turn up just a little bit. Songs get a little bit more on the rockin' side, except for Now It's Yours. But all that's left is kind of picks up. And one thing about the sound of this record is this is where I really start noticing how different every drum part is, which I guess you would expect from a drummer like Gavin, but you can really start hearing where he's adding to the songwriting and how he's just trying different styles and different tones even of his drums, which you don't really notice a whole lot in drummers. Maybe in this style of music you do, but just in general you don't really notice that too much. And that's one thing I really, really notice is how great this album sounds. Of course, I noticed that right from the start, but it's top notch as far as production. The mix of it is sparse where it needs to be. It's got very open sounding passages going on in it, but then it's super tight where it needs to be. And especially my favorite song on this whole thing was Now It's Yours, the longest song as well. Kind of got the most repetitive lyrical stuff going on in it, but it's one of those songs that just kind of like pulls you in, almost like a trance type thing, I guess. And it has a little bit of, builds up a little bit in the middle, but then it goes back to the repetitive part, and I really, really, really like that song. So this album took a few listens to get in, just to take it all in, I should say. Not to get into it, because I got into it right from the start, but to take everything in took a few listens. It's not one you just put on and, oh, that was cool. It's like you put the headphones on, you sit down, and you just kind of like just listen and like really take it in. And then the last two songs, Every Trace of Us and To Forget, very similar, and finally it's in a feel a little bit more on the heavier side. And it's just a short album. It's like 40 minutes. Every song has a meaning and goes somewhere. I didn't dislike anything on this. It had some really cool high points on it, and it's probably one that's going to spend some time in my disc player. And it's also one of those discs that makes me want to go back and like see what I've been missing. And I love it when I find something like this. It's like, I don't know what it's like for a lot of you guys when you find a band that it's a new band to you, even though it's not a new band, and then there's a whole lot more to go back and discover. That's kind of what I felt listening to this. I'm like, holy crap, there's like a ton of stuff I'm going to find with this one. And the thing I ask is if there's anything you guys think that, people like me who are not familiar with this band should check out first, or, you got any recommendations what to listen to first, because they got quite a few albums. Really appreciate it. If you leave that recommendation down in the comments there. And, any other thing else you want to share, as always. And, as I always say, like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because this is killer. This is a band that I really wished I had not missed out on, but at the same time, I'm glad I finally found. So, anyway, till the next one, we'll talk to you. See you.